All right. So what's up, everybody? This is the Bickering Blissfully podcast. I was waiting for the camera to change back to me for that vertical frame. Look, we just threw this thing together. This thing is it just bounced to Mandy for like no reason. She's not even talking. It's kind of weird. I don't. Are you hitting the table?
No, I'm not. I'm not doing anything.
Interesting. Okay. Well, anyways, let's see if it switches back. It did switch back to me. So her and I, we've always had like pretty interesting conversations, at least in my opinion. I feel like anytime she jumps on my stream, for anybody that watches my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Pete and Pants, I'll talk about that nickname another time. But usually when her and I are on voice chat together, there's some funny commentary. I think, anyways. That's when we have some of our best conversations, our funnier conversations, because I think a lot of it's because we know that people are listening to us, and
So
maybe
we try to be funny.
we try to be funny. We're a little bit goofier. We're a little bit more kind of loose. There's a little bit of like, don't give a shit in there, I think.
Yeah.
So we're like, hey, why don't we throw a podcast together? Unfortunately, part of that process, I've spent a little bit of money on this. You guys can see that we're standing behind two decent looking mics, and of course everything that requires or everything that's required to drive that. So here we are. We threw something together. I say threw together. It's probably better than most. And yeah, we're just going to talk about life. We're going to talk about current events, kids. I mean, hopefully no politics, but
We'll try to steer.
we'll try to steer clear of the politics. Gosh, everything. I mean, pop culture, gaming, to some extent, everything. Reading books. Yeah, absolutely. I can actually read, guys. Believe it or not, I can actually read. So this first episode, this is kind of the pilot, the premiere, if you will. We are going to really use this time to talk about who we are and how we met. I think that's where Mandy kind of landed on that for the first episode, just so you guys and gals can get to know us a little bit, and you know who you're listening to. We're not just some random faces, although we'll still be random faces, but hopefully you'll know us a little bit better. So, gosh, I don't know. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Ladies, do we want to talk about who we are individually and then talk about how we got
That's kind
together?
of the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the plan. Do you want to start, ladies, first, or do you want me to go?
I'll go. I'm Mandy. I Other than being a mom, I just enjoy reading, and I work from home, so I'm home a lot. We've got 4 cats. That's all me. He did not want any. So those are all my babies. And then I game a little bit. I usually enjoy more horror games than anything.
A little bit.
I'm along with horror games, I'm into horror and Halloween, and I mean, obviously you can see my bats on my chest.
Gosh, we're just showing skin already. First podcast, really?
No, I really enjoy all scary, spooky things. And that's pretty much me.
Well, thank you. I feel like I know you so much better now.
Yeah.
After how many years? How many years have we been together?
It'll be 17 years in May.
How many years have we been married?
It'll be 11 years in
I'm
May.
glad. See, I'm glad that I'm not the one that has to do the math. Like, I mean, I still do, but I'm glad I'm not the only one that has to do the math when I'm asked that question. It's not because we don't know. We know. It's just it's been that long, and it kind of feels like yesterday. But at the same time, it feels like we've been together forever. And I know a lot of people say that, but I mean, I truly mean that. But anyways, I guess it's my turn to introduce myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Brent. I do a little bit of content creation, nothing that's like blown up and made me millions of dollars, but I do stream on Twitch. As I said previously, twitch.tv/Pete and Pants. I also am creator and co-host to the Digital Ascent podcast. It's primarily a IT or information technology driven focused podcast. We also talk about a little bit of gaming culture there and current events and stuff like that, but not 90% of the time it's focused around the technology industry. And that should tell you kind of what I work in as far as my field. I work in the IT industry, and I have for, gosh, like, I don't know, a long time. I'm old. I've been working on technology for like 24, 25 years. So Yeah. As far as hobbies and stuff, you could probably guess looking around the office in which we're taping this is obviously I like my gaming culture, and I like you can't really see it because Mandy's blocking. I got a little out of time license plate over there. I'm a big Back to the Future nerd. I love kind of 80s movies. I've gotten back into reading. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but I got me a Kindle, and I've been reading now more than I ever have before. I like gaming, and I'm just big into tinkering with technology in general.
And how did you get the Peden Pants nickname?
Oh, so we're gonna start with that.
You might as well. I mean, you're talking about yourself, so.
So I'm not gonna name drop, but in high school, there was a guy that I went to high school with, who just randomly one day I'm walking down the hallway, going to my locker, and I just hear down the hallway, "Peden Pants," and I'm like, and I look behind me, and this guy's like running. He like literally jumps on my back and is like riding my back down the hallway. It's like it's like all these movies you see with the high school kids and stuff, and they're acting like goofballs in the hallway. That was us. So, but yeah, that's how I got the nickname. And then
because our last name is Peden.
Yes, yeah, anybody can find that information. You're gonna find that out, so that's not really doxing anybody. So yes, that's where that association's made. Obviously, the punny part of that is peed in your pants. I peed in my pants. So I decided to use that. It's funny. People are like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And they click on him, and then they see this bearded bald guy, and they're like, "What the hell is this? This doesn't look like a guy that pees in his pants." But believe me, all the cool kids pee in their pants. So, but yes, I did not start using that nickname formally until like, gosh, 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah. I always had a different one prior to that. So yeah, that's me, I guess, as they would say in a nutshell. Yeah.
I talk about being a mother and children. He's like, I love video games and I stream and computers.
Well, she's obviously my baby mama. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that everyone's established this. I am a proud father of 2 beautiful girls. Absolutely. I'm not going to name drop that here, although I'm sure at some point or another we're probably going to let that slip. So I don't think that's it's not anything that's confidential either. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, all shining achievements in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed.
Very.
All right. So that's a good segue. That's an excellent segue. I know for anybody, I mean, truthfully, the vertical recording that we've got going, if anybody is listening to that, because like right now it's glitching badly. I don't know what's going on with it. But typically our vertical format's going to be used for clips anyways. We're not going to really publish that whole format.
Mm-hmm.
So Mandy here is going to be doing all of the post editing and stuff like that. She's going to be clipping videos because she's a lot more time in her day than I do. Anyways, we won't talk anymore about that. Anyways, so the segue, as in we were talking about being parents and stuff like that.
Yep.
That just doesn't happen. And we're not going to talk about the birds and the bees here necessarily, but how did we meet? Do you want to start that conversation? Maybe it's more magical for you. Is it more magical for me? Is it equally magical?
Probably equally.
Okay. So go ahead. Let's hear your perspective here.
So when I was 17 and he was 19, we met through a mutual friend. We were supposed to go on a double date, and I got grounded, so I couldn't go. Story of my high school life. So we started talking on MySpace, showing our age a little bit here, and then we started talking on MSN Messenger. And
who knows what those are?
And we met, and within, I think we met on a Friday, and then by that Monday we were official. But he had met my family that like Saturday.
I move fast, guys.
Yeah.
I move real fast.
And then
I won't play any games.
And then that Monday was senior skip day, so he took me to Virginia Beach, and then
here we go, doxing again.
He asked me, well, we don't live there anymore. But he asked me if I would be his girlfriend. And then he asked me for permission to kiss him or to kiss me.
I asked myself for permission to kiss myself. Or I asked her for permission to kiss myself. How about that?
And then the rest is history. We kind of been literally inseparable since then.
Yeah, we've had our ups and downs.
Yeah. I moved in with him on my 18th birthday. Uh, and we got married 6 years after we got together.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, we met in 2006, so we got married in 2012.
And then in 2013 we had our first baby, and then 2014 we had another baby.
Yep.
And then we decided that's enough.
And then we were done, and then we got 4 cats.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess my perspective of that is going to be the same. I mean, I was just enchanted with you, of course. So, how could you not be? No, for real though. I mean, you were a little bit rebellious back then in terms of, I mean, like she said, her 18th birthday, she was gone.
Mm-hmm.
She moved in with me. Keep in mind, when she says moving to me, I'm still living with my mom. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have my own place.
Yeah.
A little bit of a late bloomer when it comes to that. But yeah, it took a little while to get on our feet. We kind of did things in reverse a little bit. But also, unlike a lot of folks these days, we spent a lot of time together to figure each other out before we tied the knot.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 years.
6 years. We figured at that point, we're not sick of each other yet. So
6 more years and we would have known. No.
And then when we were together, maybe a month, he read somewhere that penguins mate for life, and one type of penguin, a male penguin, brings the female penguin a pebble, and if she accepts it, they're mates for life. And he went out and got me a pebble, which I still have.
See, guys, this is the technique, okay?
Yeah.
You can't afford a ring because you ain't got no job.
High quality tips here.
Yeah. You can't afford a ring. You have to come up with some story. You know what I'm saying? Go get a pebble. You can find a pebble out in the driveway. You know what I'm saying? That's where I got mine. Actually, I don't know where I got that pebble.
From your driveway.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've probably driven on it a million times.
To be fair, he did get me a promise ring not long after that. So
I did. I could swing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He worked fast.
I did work pretty fast. But I can say this: when you
know, you know.
When you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. And I knew, even though I'm not always convinced that experience is necessary in terms of that. I think when you have that feeling in your gut and deep down in your chest, which I'd like to say is love, because that's what I feel like I felt.
Or ingestion,
And ingestion. I mean, I took a lot of Tums and I still had the feeling. So I was like, it's got to be love, right? Yeah, I mean, I was just like, hey, this is the real deal. So, when that happens, you just kind of move on it.
Yeah.
Take a risk.
Yeah.
We took a risk. We took a lot of risks together.
Yeah.
Early on. I mean, we had nothing for a long time. We essentially lived in poverty.
Yeah.
I mean, for a very, very long time. It took us a while to kind of we figured each other out, but then we had to figure ourselves out. We hadn't quite come to terms with who we were as people.
I mean, we were still babies when we met. So
yeah, I mean,
17 and 19.
It's not really old, especially you're already. Yeah, we didn't have anything figured out. It took a little while, but we got there. Obviously, we're sitting here making a fancy podcast. It means we've done something with our lives, right?
We got there together.
We did. So that's pretty much, I'd say that wraps us up in terms of how we met and kind of how we got where we're at now.
Yeah, we've literally been together half of my life. So, there's that. I literally don't remember a life without Brent. So hopefully I never have to know a life without Brent.
I mean, I've been balding for a while, so hopefully my heart's not slowly fading away. Have a stroke. Hopefully not a stroke live on the podcast. I guess it would be live. Mandy would post it after the fact and be like, victory.
No.
All right. So we got that out of the way. Was there anything else you wanted to cover in terms of how we met, who we are, why we're doing the podcast? Do we want to talk about how we came up with the name, Bickering Blissfully?
Yeah. I mean, the two of us, we bicker a lot, jokingly. I don't think we've ever had
we've had real spats. Everybody has real spats.
But we've never been like, all right, I'm done. I'm out of here. We've never been like that type of couple where we're on and off.
I mean, there was one time I asked her to make me a tuna sandwich, and she didn't make me a tuna sandwich. And so I went for a walk, you know what I'm saying? Because that made me hot. Mm. I wanted a tuna sandwich. I wasn't going to make it myself. And so I said, hey, can you make me a tuna sandwich? She says, nah, I ain't doing that.
I think I was pregnant with Chloe at the time.
I don't care. I wanted a tuna sandwich. Okay. And she didn't make me my tuna sandwich. So I was like, I'm out of here. And I went walking down the street, but I came back like 10 minutes later. And I was like, I'm sorry.
And he had a sandwich waiting on the nightstand beside the bed.
I did have a tuna sandwich waiting for me.
Which he threw in the trash.
I did, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Wow, I was a spiteful son of a gun.
I think that's literally the one time you've ever been super mad at me. I don't know what type of day he had at work, but he came home.
I've had my moments. I've never done anything bad.
No.
But I did get mad about a damn tuna sandwich. So, for anybody, I've talked to a lot of people about this, but that would have been in the same time frame where I was a correctional officer and stuff like that too. So I had very long days. I had 12-hour shifts. 9 times out of 10, they were longer than that because it would take me a little while to like relieve somebody in the morning. I'm getting there at like 5:45 in the morning, and then I'm not leaving until 6:30, 7 o'clock that night if I'm lucky. I had very long nights.
And I wasn't working. So I think that was
and tight on money still. Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, correctional officers don't make any money, and they still don't make any money. So I salute you guys and gals, anybody that happens to listen that's been a correctional officer or still is a correctional officer. I don't envy it. I did it for almost 2.5 years, and the best thing I ever did was getting the hell out of that. But to each their own. I know some people that's their jam. So, anyways, that was kind of a weird rant off the rails sort of thing there. But for whatever reason, I recall that damn tuna sandwich and how mad I was about that tuna sandwich. And anyways, so I guess the Bickering Blissfully. I've gotten better at saying it. I was very tongue twisted when we came up with this name.
Bickering Blissfully. Just don't ask us to say it twice in a row.
Yeah, Bickering Blissfully. Bickering Blissfully. I mean, and as Mandy said, I mean, it's the name explains itself.
Yeah, I mean, we bicker literally like 90% of the time. We're bickering between the two of us, but we're like an old couple.
You're gonna hear a lot of that on here. That's kind of where the content is made. That's where the magic happens. So
we're bickering, but we're happy about it.
Right. Yeah, we feel the bliss as we bicker.
Yes.
So the other topic that I guess we were going to talk just as a little sideline here was books, right? We wanted to talk about reading a little bit. That's kind of been a passion, but especially a passion for you for a long time.
I've always been really big on books and reading. I mean, in high school, I read all the vampire books and all that good stuff. I was heavily into reading Harry Potter, all that good stuff. But I kind of went off of it for a while. And then TikTok, of course, I got hooked onto Book Talk and
TikTok.
Yeah, and then
don't download TikTok. If you have TikTok, uninstall it from your phone. It's bad. Okay.
So I saw someone talking about Kindles and how great they were, and I was like, you know what? I want to get into ebooks. And
we were late to this party, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I read for a while on my iPad, and then I kept seeing people saying that Kindles were so much better. So I got a Kindle, and I've read so many books since then. I mean, I'm reading at least 10 books a month, which is a lot to me. I mean, I'm sure a lot of other people read more than that, but
10 books a month is a lot when, I mean, we don't have the busiest schedule in the world, but in terms of like sitting down and reading something for fun, yeah.
But I kept telling him he needed to get into it too, and he showed a little bit of interest in reading, and I'm like, look, if you're going to get into it, get a Kindle. Like, that's the only way to read. I've read from my phone. I've read from an iPad. I was like, you got to get a Kindle because it's so much like a regular book because the page looks like a regular book page, and it's small, and you can take it everywhere, and battery lasts forever. So I convinced him to get one, and now he's read. How many books have you read since you got it?
I've had it for, how long have I had the Kindle now?
I don't know.
I've only had it a couple of months, if even that. I've read like
maybe a month.
I've read like 3 or 4 books, which is a lot for me. I mean, my goal, you can set a goal in there on the app. My goal is 1 a month.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing 10 plus a month like you are. I've got too many hobbies. This right here being one of them. You know, obviously I talked about the other podcasts that I'm doing, and then gaming for fun, and then on Twitch gaming, and then just everything else. Yeah, I mean, I've got this competing priorities when it comes to hobbies. But yeah, I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
Sure.
I'm a pretty much a 50-50 split down the middle self-help sort of stuff. How to get better at this, how to get better at that, and then fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I am 100% smut. That's all I read. So good.
so bad, so bad. So much. It's so bad that like I'll get emails. Hey, we recommend this book, and I'm like,
Take my daddy, I'll take yours.
what? What email did I just get?
Yeah. But I
had to move my Kindle to a whole new Amazon account so I wouldn't get those recommendations, ladies and gentlemen.
So I talked him into getting a book on his Kindle that I could read too, and it has a teeny bit of spice trickled in there a little bit.
Actually, I picked that book.
He did.
And so and you would never think that I would read this sort of book. Anybody that knows me,
it's like a fantasy book. It's.
Well, I love high fantasy, so don't get me wrong. But this fantasy book was about literally like, I mean, it's about vampires.
Yeah, it was like a Hunger Games type of vibe.
Hunger Games, Twilight-ish.
Not Twilight, no.
Yeah.
ACOTAR.
The hell is ACOTAR?
A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's with fae, not fairies like with wings and stuff, but
all right, see, you can see how much
the
I know
fantasy
about this
romance
fantasy genre
type of deal. But he read it just as fast, if not a little bit faster than I did, because he was super into it, and that was really good. So I think we're gonna continue to read like that series. She's coming out with another book next month.
Yeah, what's her name again? Carissa Blood something?
Broadbent,
not Blood.
Something like that.
Carissa Broadbent, I think.
Yeah.
For anybody curious, we can always post that in the show notes.
Yeah, we probably just butchered that.
Really, really good.
Yeah. And she just came out with another novella, like a shorter book.
A novella.
And we read that. That was a little more spicy.
That was a lot more spicy.
Not that spicy.
So in comparison to her first book, it was a lot more spicy, in my opinion.
Yes. It dialed up the notch a couple.
It
went from like a 2 to like
no, it didn't
4
dial it though.
5.
You're sitting there, you're cruising along with the story that's like at a 2, right? She's just like, he's a handsome dude. I kind of like these vampires have wings, by the way. Oh, I'd like to see what his wings look like. All right, cool. She's not saying she wants to see what something else looks like, and then all of a sudden it's like, bow, they're in bed together, and I'm like, whoa,
they're in bed together.
That was quick. That's as far as I'm going to take it here for this podcast. You can imagine if you want to know, just read the damn book. But it escalated very quickly.
It did.
And I was like, oh man! And it's like 4 pages of just that. And then I just raised my hands and got it to follow me. Look at that. That's a blooper for the first one. So for anybody that doesn't know, this camera follows, and that's exactly what it's doing right now.
Can I raise my hand to make it come back to me? No?
Maybe, but it's very upset right now. Thankfully, it's still recording video, but the control panel is like toasted for some reason. So, like I said, good blooper for the first one, I suppose.
We were doing so good.
We were doing so good. It was a tech failure that got us. Or just me with crazy hands. All right, hold on. Let's see. So keep talking. Tell us about what else have you been reading? What have you been reading that's not smut? How can I ask you that? Well, they can't see you say that.
Nothing.
Or they can't see you hold up your hand. I mean, maybe they did. Put it back. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Zero, guys. Zero. All right,
so right now I'm reading about, it's all a series by Sarah Kate, The Salacious Players Club. Highly recommend if you are into
hold on, what is that about?
The spiciness.
It's more. Go figure, guys. More spice.
Yeah. So the Salacious Players Club is literally a sex club, and the books are about each of the 4 owners of the sex club and their relationships. You
should have started this with a disclaimer. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
I would recommend this to my mom. She would like it.
Oh no. We're not. Hey, okay. All right.
But no, it's really good. Like each book is about a different kink, so you get to learn more. Like
Just go
that's one
further
thing
down
that
the
I
rabbit hole,
can
guys.
say about reading the spicy books is it definitely opens your mind to other things. Um, spices up things in your own life, which is kind of nice.
Oh
So,
my
you know.
God.
Can you complain?
This
Really?
first episode
Can you really complain?
is chalked. It's chalked. We've gone
We
from
never said this was a kid friendly podcast.
I mean, I guess not, but holy hell. Is it friendly to anybody? I love how the vertical camera is still just like crazy. At least we've got the camera back, guys. It looks I think I framed it mostly how it was before. So anyways, no, I cannot complain. We'll go back to that subject. I cannot complain. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about.
Would you read one of the very spicy books? Like if you thought that novella was spicy, your mind would be blown with some of these books.
But that's not why I read that novella.
But it's fun.
I mean, I'd imagine it is. So is other things. But I don't watch it all the time. Like, so I guess my point being is like, I wouldn't mind maybe reading like one or two spread way out.
Yeah. Okay.
Every now and then. But all the time, no, I can't do it all the time. I just did it again with my hand.
We're going to duct tape your hands to your legs.
No, we just need to, turn that feature off. That's all it is to it. Guys, we kind of
This is our first try.
We
okay?
pasted this thing together. You know what I'm saying?
We're-
like, this is like, hey, how can it was Mandy's idea. So like my first idea was like, I don't want this to be a video podcast. Not really. Because that adds a whole nother level of technicalities, like what we're facing here.
Personally, I'm a visual person.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot sit and listen to a podcast. I can't.
All right. All the gesture settings are off now.
Okay.
So the next time I'm waving my hand around, this is what happens when you buy a smart camera.
It's smarter than you.
It's smarter than me, guys. It's smarter than me. It's looking at me right now. I can see it's intimidating me right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's glaring at me.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm looking at you guys, but you guys don't understand that I'm looking at this camera, this little damn thing. It looks like a modern day Johnny Five, if you guys know who that is, from Short Circuit.
It does.
But so to explain that real quick, it's a smart camera. You hold your hand up like this. I've got it turned off now, but the light will flash and then it will literally follow my face. Whoever raised their hands, it'll follow their face.
It's pretty cool, but not.
It's really cool. It's for
this
like
setting.
a teacher. It's for a professor. It's for an instructor that's leading a class. It even has like a cool little whiteboard mode where you can put little stickers on like a whiteboard and do whatever gesture it is for it. And it'll zoom into the whiteboard and frame it automatically. And then you can do another gesture to it and it'll zoom back on you. And it's just cool. It's one of those cameras where it pan, tilts, and zooms, PTZ. It'll move all over the place. Do its thing. But in case you're wondering what the hell's going on when you watch this first podcast and you're laughing at us,
We don't know what's going on.
we also don't know
And I
what's
think
going on.
This is the perfect first episode because we are never going to have a perfect podcast. It's not going to, like, if you're looking for a really good, professional, great podcast, that's not what you're going to get with us.
I don't think that's true.
You're going to get a little bit of chaos.
I don't think that's true.
And you're going to get some cussing. You're going to get
Some cussing. What
some
is cussing?
spice.
Some spice. We already got the spice. I think we have plenty of spice for one episode. What else did we want to cover on this one? I mean, we're at, so for the viewership, we're at 29 minutes now. Of course, we've had some little hiccups and technicalities and all this stuff, but for anybody listening, anybody watching, we intend on keeping these between 30 minutes and an hour, probably sticking more around the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
That's kind of going to be where we get, just for the sake of like, we want to get content out. We want to be able to like, on a whim, let's go do a podcast real quick. We're like, we've got something fresh on our mind that we want to talk about, something fresh that we can hash back and forth or something like that. We want to turn on the damn key light, get the camera fired up, boom, record a podcast. But we're going to try to make these as like modular and as like quick fire as possible, where it makes sense. Mandy's going to be posting content to TikTok. We'll talk about that at some point, why I don't like that. Or you can tune into the Digital Descent podcast and you can figure out why we hate it. Anyways, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. She's going to be posting some vertical form clips to that for any funny moments, if you will. We also have some before the show bloopers where we were testing everything, where everything was working pretty good. But those are kind of funny too. We'll probably post some of that. And then the wide frame format here, we're recording 2 videos at the same time. We're fancy like that. We got high budget on this project. Anyways, we're gonna be posting that, I guess, to Anchor.fm, which is Spotify's podcast service. I don't think it's called Anchor FM anymore. They rebranded it. I think it's Podcast by Spotify or something like that now. But we'll be posting the video to that as well. And I think that has an option to, like, for anybody checking us out on Spotify, I think you can watch the video or you can do an audio only. So that'll be interesting. This is all up in the air right now. I've not tested it yet necessarily.
But the reason why we went with a video podcast is me. It's all.
I mean, she's a lot more attractive than I am. We know that right off the rip. So.
No. So I like I said, I'm a visual person. I can't just listen to people drone on. I like radio. I hate when they start talking on the radio in between music because I'm just like, all right, this is boring.
She hasn't even listened to my podcast, guys.
I've listened to the first episode just to say that I did.
She listened to the first 5 minutes of the first episode.
I zoned the fuck out through half of it. You couldn't pay me $1 million to tell you anything.
Show me what you look like while you were listening to that.
Sound asleep. I'm sure that was so attractive.
That's how she looks when she sleeps too, by the way. When I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh, let me look at the love of my life. I turn around and she's cross-eyed and mouth open. A little bit of drool hanging down, running down the face.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to make this something that I could enjoy putting out, because if we did just a sound podcast, I wouldn't go back and listen to them. I could actually go back and watch and actually enjoy it.
Some of the facial cues and expressions and stuff are kind of funny too, though.
Yeah, and like the looks we give each other and stuff like that. It's fun. Makes it more fun. You do your more serious podcast and you do the actual podcast thing with your friends.
That's true.
This is more my style, I guess.
Yeah. Well, cool. We have any ideas what we're going to talk about on the next episode? Any teasers? Have you thought about anything?
Not a clue. So we're going to leave you guys with a
look at that, guys.
There.
That's awesome, right? Well, as always, and we will say this a lot, we appreciate you guys and gals watching, listening, checking us out on, like I said, the short form content, the TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, all those clips. If that's where you find the main podcast at, cool. If that's all you ever watch, cool. Thank you for watching. We're going to appreciate any viewership at this point.
Yeah.
And there will be more content to come. And yeah, any other closing thoughts?
No, just thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to
Bickering Blissfully.
There we go. I got her off guard and she got it. Bye, guys.
Bye.